we go. And we're live. Now we're just waiting for Brenda. We will get this figured out. Welcome everybody to Sacred Hearts Rising. Let's chat. And we're just waiting for Brenda to join us, and we will start. And we have Brenda, I believe.
I can see you. Can you see me?
I can see you. I figured it out, Brenda.
Well, I quickly asked them, I said, how the heck do I join? And they said, well, you're going to have the invite. And I went, okay, well, I didn't get that. So anyway.
Yeah, because I was doing it all on my phone, and then it kept saying, you need to go on your desktop. And I'm like, okay, I'm the host. I need to go on the desktop. So we are on the desktop.
Okay, well, it says live, 8 minutes and 50 seconds. So.
Well, here it says live 1 minute and 2. So.
Okay, well, however it's going to go is however it's going to go.
Oh, we won't know if we don't try, right?
That's right. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
We'll get her done, right?
There we go. Well, I'm assuming that we're live now, so.
Well, everybody else will see how wonderful we are.
There you go. Technology at its finest with people who don't know technology.
Yeah, anyway, not my friend at all.
There we go. Okay. We made it.
We made it. So this is our first Let's Chat, and I'm joined with Brenda Hammond today, and she is the CEO and founder of Sacred Hearts Rising and the creator of Let's Chat. This is our way of reaching out to different people, the authors, members, different services. Opening doors is what we're trying to do by having these Let's Chats. So Brenda today wanted to share on being the voice of change. So I have given Brenda some questions that she can answer and gave her a little bit of homework to do. As I'll be giving everybody that will be on Let's Chat, I will be giving them each 5 questions that they can work on and prepare, and so you're not just on the spot.
Okay.
So I'll let you take it over, Brenda, and why you created Let's Chat and a little bit about Sacred Hearts, and we'll get her done.
Okay, so I created Let's Chat so that we could interact with people. We can do Facebook Zooms and we can do all of that sort of stuff, but sometimes something gets missed in the middle of all of that. So I thought, well, having candid conversations is probably a good way to connect with people. So that's why I thought, well, let's chat, because it's less threatening than all of that other stuff. And sometimes if you don't know about Zoom, it's a little bit hard to get into, and this way it's just easy. Sacred Hearts was created as part of the change, and it was created simply because my granddaughter had passed away at 7 days old, and I wanted to share her story. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted her to live on in a legacy. Because at 7 days old, you really can't create an awful lot. But Jaden created a lot. And I say that because of her, Sacred Hearts was started. And in sharing her story in the first book, it's almost like I gave her immortality, and I was doing genealogy and I was looking at all of this stuff, and people have gone and their stories have gone with them. And I didn't want that. I wanted 100 years from now, people to know who Jaden was, who the authors were, who their stories were about, and how they can be touched no matter what generation, what lifespan, whatever. It doesn't really make any difference. And that's actually how Sacred Hearts got started.
And I got to be a part of the amazing family, the connection, right? Because for me, Sacred Hearts is not a book, it's a family, it's a connection. And by you stepping up, Brenda, and saying, you know what, Liz, I believe in you and your story matters, it has changed my life immensely. Like, even my vocabulary has increased. So
yeah. I remember you asking me, what word does that mean? And I'm like, okay. That's just it. I mean, in creating the change, it doesn't matter whether you reach one person or 100 people. The fact of the matter is you reached somebody. And I was truly honored when you contacted me, because that's why I shared my own personal story, is not for vengeance and not to get back at anybody. It was, if I can survive this and share my story, maybe there's another woman or a man out there that is in the same boat as I am, who is surrounded by fear, guilt, and shame, the three big things that we all suffer from when we are sexually abused, that if they can see that I can get past it, that it'll give them the tools to be able to get past it themselves and being able to create that change in their own life. Because boy, after sharing my story, I never thought that my life would end up where it is because I shared my story. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, if I didn't share it, I wouldn't be sitting here having a conversation with the lovely Liz from Ontario, because there's no way that our paths would have crossed. It's impossible.
No.
You know, no way. So that's what I like about this, you know, being a leader for change in reaching out and touching other people and helping them see the positive in what has happened to them. And there is positive. For every negative, there's a positive.
Well, there's growing pains and everything, so.
Yes, there is.
And I'm learning the growing pains are good. And they're not all bad. And
no.
So some of the questions that I sent to you, Brenda, which one would you like to reach out and answer to first? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5?
You pick one.
Okay, I'm going to start with number 3.
Okay.
Where would people see these changes coming from?
You see the changes coming from within, because the change isn't something that's tangible. It's not something that you can put your hands on like an ice cream cone. You know, it's something that happens in the inside of you. So if you're sitting there listening to somebody share their story and you are being affected and you are thinking, hey, I could kind of get past it. I can do that. I can do what that person has done. You, in essence, have already started a change. You don't know it, but it is happening to somebody out there that is listening to you. And that's what creating the change and feeling the change is all about. It's within ourselves that we decide that we don't want to do this anymore. We don't want to live the life of our past kicking us in the butt every time we turn around. We want to move past that. And it has to be something within each of us. So.
Okay, and what services are out there for people to make changes?
There's lots of services out there. I mean, the probably the one that's the biggest is go to your doctor. Talk to your doctor. Tell your doctor what you're feeling. Oh, my nose is itchy, sorry. Tell them, say, look, I'm feeling this way because of this. And most people have not told their doctor about their past. I know I certainly didn't tell my doctor about my past. And when I said to her, I think I need some help, you know, it was because she thought that I was talking about when my ex-husband had died and everybody was blaming me for his death and all of that good stuff because it was easier than face the reality of how he actually died. So she sent me to somebody, a grief counselor, and that grief counselor in turn looked at me and said, oh, there's a little bit more going on in here than you want to tell me. And that was very true. So my doctor was the catalyst for starting on traditional therapy. But there's energy workers, there's healers, there's all kinds of stuff out there. And the internet is a wonderful tool to be able to find all of that stuff. But what's really, really interesting and is profound is inside the Sacred Hearts community, there are people that do all kinds of modalities of therapies. I mean, the traditional therapy of, you know, rapid eye movement and hypnotism and all of that sort of stuff. But there's also the energy workers and the cellular release workers. So you just have to kind of ask your doctor. And if your doctor can't help you, and I'd be surprised if they couldn't, then look up services in your province. And you just have to look up, you know, healing services or trauma services, and everything will come up on the internet as to where you can go. And if one person doesn't work, go to the next person. I mean, I've had traditional therapy, and I've had, you know, spiritual therapy and cellular release, and I have had all of that sort of stuff. So it's all out there on the internet or with your doctor. And if your doctor is really good, they'll be able to point you in the right direction.
Well, and that's it, right? We have to ask for the help.
You have to ask for the help. If you aren't willing to ask for the help, then nobody can help you. Because if you're not willing to help yourself, nobody else can help you. That's just the way it is. I mean, and you can talk about your story, and you can still be stuck in your story unless you're willing to kick off the muck and the mire and step out of it and say, okay, enough is enough. I can't let this control my life anymore. And you have to be willing to want to do that.
Well, that's it, right? And one thing we all talk about is standing on our stories with Sacred Hearts, right? So
yeah, and it's hard. I mean, if it was easy, we would all do it. You know, leaving the past behind and the trauma of the past behind is never an easy thing. But I've always said that when I did my story, I had already gone through hell. Like, there was nothing telling my story was going to do to me that hadn't already been done to me, you know, and the feelings that were there that I carried for so long. And, you know, everybody often talks about, you know, forgiveness. You have to forgive, you know, your abuser. You have to be like hell.
What happening?
Hard time with that. Like, I am not forgiving that SOB for anything, or you know. But what I really found is that it wasn't so much as forgiving them; it was forgiving myself. And I had no choice in the matter, because I was 5 when it started. So I had to forgive myself for carrying their dirty little secrets, because that's exactly what it was. They had done something that they didn't want anybody else to know about. It was our little secret, you know, or, you know, you're my favorite, or I love you the best. You know, all of that crap that they tell you, you know, it's because they don't want anybody to know. And then, you know, whether they threaten your life or they threaten your family's life, you know, we become so traumatized in carrying that burden. And when I forgave myself for carrying their dirty little secrets, that's when life changed. And I did. I just said, you know, look, you guys take your crap back. And I mentally just took all of it and I just sent it back to them and said, here, you deal with it. That's yours, not mine anymore. And it's amazing when you take that burden off your shoulders, how much things change for you, you know, and that's a mental thing. It's a mental capacity of looking in the mirror, looking at yourself and seeing that person that was abused and simply saying, I love you. I believe you. And now let's just set this up, send it back to whoever it was.
Those words are powerful, because that's one thing that you said to me, Brenda, was I believe you. And without you saying that, like, I wouldn't be where I am today. I can tell anybody that I would not be here in front of you talking or you know, or being the leader for you, you know, running Sacred Hearts videos like this. Like, I am completely out of my comfort zone, but you've given me that encouragement and that support to, you know what, Liz, it's going to hurt. It's going to take time, but we're going to get there, you know?
Yep.
And I believe that baby steps, right? And sometimes we want to jump in, and we need somebody to just say, you know what, no, slow down, and baby.
You have to crawl before you can walk, and you have to take small steps before you can get your balance. It's just like when we're growing up as kids, you got to crawl, then you got to kind of walk, and then you kind of got to run, and then pretty soon you can, you know, run the marathon. This is exactly the same. You can't jump in and expect to be doing the marathon right off the bat. It just doesn't work that way. Your body and your mind needs time to adjust, because it's carried this stuff for a long time. For me, it carried it for over 50 years, you know, so you can't exactly shift 50 years of mindset and body set in the blink of an eye. You can't. It's something that takes time to do, but you have to be diligent and say, I want it, for sure.
And for yourself, Brenda, how do you think people can be the voice of change?
Anybody can actually be a voice of change if they want to. And it starts by kindness. You know, you look at the world today, and it drives me crazy because there's so much negative out there. You know, Facebook posts are negative and the news is negative and everything. Everybody thrives for some reason on all of this negative stuff that goes on, you know, and people are fighting over the most mundane things. You know, is the climate changing? Is it not changing? Well, yeah, the climate is changing. I mean, it has changed since the Earth has been here, and I'm not going to get into a climate debate with anybody, but you know, I mean, come on, people, it's been changing for a long time. And frankly, right now, when we had minus 50, I can tell you that, you know, like, I'm not too sure that we're warming up that much. You know? But anyway, what was your question? I just
No, you answered it, but you threw some extra goodies in there, so
some extra stuff in there. So,
like good old climate change, right?
Anyway, that's it. So we can, in essence, start making a change by becoming more positive in our outlook, in what we project into the world. We all have bad days. We all have those days, you know, but do we have to tell everybody about those days? Like, I never tell anybody when I'm sick, you know, and I never tell anybody when I'm feeling like, you know, the world has just kicked me in the teeth again or whatever. I refuse. I refuse to be a part of the dogma of the negativity. And I just always want to project out some positivity. And I think if we all did that, then things would start to shift again. You know, it's almost like there's a sea of negativity, and every once in a while pops this one little negative or positive thing. So we all can make a change by being more proactive and being positive, and not get swept into the dogma of all the negativity that goes around.
Yeah. And if we notice that we're following, it's always okay just to say, you know what, don't stay there long, get out of there and get back. Like,
yeah,
you know, yeah. So I find with the society, with us being so technology and virtual and everything, the connection with people, the only way that people feel that they can reach anybody is by being negative, because then they get a reaction, right?
Yeah. And I mean, there are groups like Sacred Hearts Authors Group is there to offer that support. So if somebody's having a really bad day, you know, they can post in the group and say, I'm having a really bad day. And then, you know, a lot of the authors will rally up and say, like, we got you and you're here. And they're always giving you positive something. They're never saying, oh, well, just too bad. Like, you know, so if you belong to groups where you can safely talk about things, you know, a mental illness group or a PTSD group, that's different than posting it out there on Facebook. Because there are groups that you can do that with, where you can ask for help and not project it to the world.
And if anybody wanted to know more about Sacred Hearts, we'll end up, because I know we want to keep these really short so people stay in tune. So if anybody wants to know more about Sacred Hearts, how could they reach you or know more about Sacred Hearts? We
have our website, sacredheartsrising.com. And they can go there, and there's all kinds of stuff. And there's a contact form on there. They can message me through this video live that you've done. I think it's called a video live, or however.
It's something.
Anyway, they can comment here, and I can get a hold of them and reach out to them. So, yeah, there are ways that you can just, or Facebook me or however you want to do it. But probably the fastest and the easiest is right now on the comments, and just tag me in the comment, and then I can respond and help.
And if they have any questions, they can leave them in the comments as well. So
leave them in the comments as well. Yep.
And this is our first Let's Chat. So we're keeping them short and sweet, but we got a lot of information that is good. And if you have any suggestions or anything that you would like us to put on Sacred Hearts Rising, or anybody that you'd like us to reach out to or talk to, don't be shy. Reach out to Brenda Hammond or myself, Elizabeth Gagno. You can reach out Brenda as well on the Sacred Hearts Rising Facebook page.
Yes.
And then the website, www.sacredheartsrising. And we will see you soon. And I will bring Brenda back every once in a while so she can throw in some more good tips.
I get a little long-winded sometimes.
And I think we did pretty good for the first one. So we'll end with that, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.